Let's connect with Nitish Mittersain, founder and CEO at Nazara Technologies, to understand the implications of the 28% GST, the stock under pressure in today's trading session. Nitish, you have clarified that it's about 5.2% of your overall revenue on skill-based gaming. So take us through the impact on Nazara.
Sure. As you know, this has just been announced yesterday, and it's a bit for us to be able to define impact on our skill-based real money gaming business. But it's important to understand that Nazara is a very well diversified business. We are diversified on three different areas. One is in terms of the different products that we have and the different business models, and also the different geographies that we work in. So I think Nazara continues to be a very stable gaming platform that we have built over the years. The skill-based real money gaming business contributed to 5.2% of our FY23 revenues. Basis this new policy, there will be some impact, and I'm sure our teams as well as the industry will work very closely to mitigate as much impact as we can over here. But from an overall Nazara perspective, I think we can easily take this in our stride without any major financial impact on our performance.
Nitish, I understand that you would be a little close to your earnings, but just adjusting for this 5.25% hit, what kind of earnings can we expect on an overall basis in terms of your revenues for the full year?
I mean, firstly, we have not, given out annual earnings guidance. We usually do it in September, like we have done every year after our IPO. Sorry, one second. And I think we will have to see how this impact on this 5% of our business plays out. It's still, to be honest, very early to predict it. Probably the next quarter, we should be in a position to share more information on that front.
Announcement itself with respect to GST, are you expecting some sort of representation to be made by the industry? Because the entire industry has been quite vocal about it. Do you see any chance of a rollback, or do you think it's done deal?
I think this announcement yesterday, of course, did take the entire industry with surprise. The expectation was that this would be applicable on the gross gaming revenue. So it's definitely taken the entire industry by surprise. There are a lot of very active associations in the industry like AIGF, etc. We are also an active member of these organizations, and they will coordinate an industry effort to try and represent the industry's point of view and try and find a solution here.
Nitish, but what do you think? Would this change the consumer behavior by a whole lot? We were just discussing that people who enjoy playing these games are partly addicted to it as well. Do you think this will materially change the behavior of the consumer?
I think especially in certain formats, right, it reduces the amount of winnings that would go back to the hands of the consumers by a significant margin. And to that extent, I think the interest of consumers definitely would get significantly dampened.
Okay, so just wanted to understand then from a perspective of what you expect now consumers will resort to. What Anisha was sort of trying to say is that, yes, of course, it reduces the winnings. It will impact the behavior. What do you think the next avenue perhaps is going to be for those who are highly addicted?
I think there are, of course, a lot of, gaming opportunities on the mobile phone. Consumers are playing all types of games, not just skill-based real money games. But at the same time, this was providing significant entertainment value to the consumers. So we will have to see how it pans out. I really don't have a crystal ball at this point of time, but the next few weeks will give us more clarity, and I'll be happy to come back and speak more about what I have learned.
Okay, so that's the take coming in. Nitish, with respect to the fundraise itself, you're also raising 750 odd crores, if I have it right. Could you talk to us about the utilization of that, and what are the avenues of raising this fund?
Yes. So, we have grown over the last few years, very, very aggressively on the back of investments in great gaming companies that we have invested in. Especially most of our investments in the past have been in the non-RMG space. And many of these businesses have grown very well. And we've got a playbook that is now working very well. So my team in the last few quarters especially has done a lot of work with companies in India as well as globally, especially given the market sentiments and attractive valuations that are available. So we are definitely looking at making additional investments, additional M&A activity in many of the segments that we operate in. And hopefully in the coming months, you will see more action on that front as well.
M&A, is there something that you're looking to acquire or buy out?
Yes, we always are.
Okay. Any ticket size that you may have narrowed down on?
I mean, there are multiple segments we're looking at, multiple opportunities we're looking at, and the ticket size is also, different sizes. But I think our overall fundraise will give an indication of, the direction we want to go in.
Will you slow down in the gaming division at all, given the kind of policy uncertainty that we are looking at? Will you lower down your, M&A expectations from the gaming segment or the overall focus area?
No, absolutely not. I think India is on a one-way street to becoming the gaming nation of the world, and we're just getting started. I think both from a large gaming market in India as well as Indian developers and Indian gaming companies starting to win in the global markets. So I don't think any slowdown I anticipate from a Nazara perspective. The real money gaming space had scaled extremely well in the Indian market. A lot of companies have done a lot of good work over there, and I think that one is definitely going to get a dampener. I am very hopeful, like I said earlier, that the industry will be able to mitigate this, work closely with the authorities and try and find a solution.
So, given that you said it's going to be a minimal impact on your overall revenues, you had just recently raised your overall growth guidance to 70 to 75%. You had moderated your EBITDA margin expectation to about 10% from an earlier 12 to 13%. Does this remain intact? What's the outlook? Are you revising numbers?
Just to clarify, that guidance was for the previous year, FY23. We have not shared any guidance for FY24. We will share a guidance in September quarter.
Just to quickly get out the point as far as the entire gaming decision is concerned as well, wanted to understand from you that going forward, what kind of expectations are with respect to the entire industry when it comes to the startup world. You talked about how the real gaming had scaled up quite a bit. We had the conversation with Rajan Anandan as well, and he was saying how gaming could be the next e-commerce kind of wave for India. Do you think there could be a bit of, winter, the startup winter, the freezing winter can come in for startups as well as far as that segment is concerned, and it could go the edtech wave?
No, like I said, the skill-based real money gaming space was, scaling very well in India, and this is a significant setback to that space. So startups operating in that space, especially younger startups operating in that space, will struggle. Actually, this is also going to impact the larger companies. So this is, I think, for the younger startups in that space, it's almost going to be impossible to do any business. So of course, in that particular segment, is going to be a large segment. But I really think it's very important that India does not lose out on the opportunities it has on the overall gaming space. And therefore, I think all types of clarity, regulatory clarity, taxation clarity is very important. Since the time of our IPO, we have been, asking for clarity on the RMG space as well. And similarly, I think there are new technologies coming in. Web3, for example, is again operating in a gray area in India. A lot more clarity is required over there. So I think the faster we can have better clarity, we know where to invest and how to do business in the right manner, completely compliant with the law, and startups can really build on a very strong foundation that way.
Nitish, would you like to tell your shareholders anything right now? Because, it was a gap down move for your stock while it's recovered from that 10% downtick that it started off the day with. Well, we're still down about 6.5%, 660 thereabouts in the stock. I mean, I know on the street there are as bullish price targets in your stock as 804. But any message for your shareholders right now?
I think the only message I would like to share is, that Nazara has a history of operating for 23 years. We have been a very capital efficient business. And we've gone through many cycles, taken many hits, and always come out stronger. In this case, it's a very minimal hit to us, so I would not want any of our investors to panic.
All right, gone through many cycles and emerged stronger. No need to panic. All right, thanks very much, Nitish, for clarifying that. The stock price, though, perhaps will take a little bit of time to actually digest the news and the fact that the management has categorically said that it's just about a 5.2% impact to the total revenues. 660 is where it's currently at in trade.